All right, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Left 4 Dead Garage. We have a lot of heavy squirrel brain going on right now. As usual, got way too many irons in the fire, but that's all right because it makes for good content, I think. I hope. I can't make you watch 36 episodes of me grinding on that 55, so we got to bounce around a little bit. And where the budget allows, that has something to do with it. We worked on that thing. That's, you hopefully have already seen that video. There's also a couple other videos on that truck, and got a few plans for that. But we are we're working on a Tri-5 today. So got Uncle Al's 55 wagon. There is a video, one video on this car. I thought there was more. Apparently there's just one. It was red in that video. It is a, I think it's a 355. It's got Dark Pro 1 head, solid roller cam. Got a BorgWarner Super T10 transmission. And this is his, he's had it for a long time, I believe. Little street gasser, kind of sort of, not a solid axle car, but you know, it's still, not all gassers were straight axle. It's got a 12 bolt Chevrolet, Caltrax, new springs. I'm pretty sure it's got new leaf springs. Yeah, new leaf springs, 9-inch rear. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a 9-inch. I thought it was a 12 bolt car. New shocks, new Caltrax, rear discs, front disc. I mean, it's got some goodies hid under here. I believe I've tore this car up every time I've drove it. The first time I drove it, if you'll go back and watch that video, I managed to send the fan into the radiator and broke the clutch linkage. So then it stayed with me and I fixed that, and I launched the belt into orbit on that test drive. And if I'm not mistaken, oh, and that's when I think it came back for something else, and that's when I realized that there was something funky going on with the rear end, and I bent one or both leaf springs, I can't remember. That's when it got the Caltrax and the good springs. So why is it here today? Well, cruising season's coming and needs a valve adjustment, and I guess I'm just doing a general once over, check everything over, and see if it needs anything. So let me get set up here, and we'll take a look under the hood. All right, here we have it. Dart-headed 355. Got hookers, super comp, fender well headers, aluminum valve covers. Got a Holley intake. I know there was another, maybe it was that same video, but I found that the intake manifold had a warped flange on this passenger side bank over here, and it had a massive vacuum leak. And we swapped to this Holley intake. And I believe at some point swapped to this edelbrock carburetor. Now, in here I have his 650 mechanical secondary carburetor that I went back through a while back. I just haven't seen the car, and I've been wanting to try it. That's actually the warped manifold too. So I think what I'm gonna do is he don't know, which he'll probably be okay with, as long as this fuel line here will work. I'm going to put that Proform 650 on there, and we're going to take this edelbrock off because that edelbrock is just, they're great carburetors, great cruisers, work pretty good off-road, you know, in like off-camber situations and whatnot. But for this motor, it probably, it would definitely benefit from that mechanical secondary, and honestly, it probably would really benefit from a little larger carburetor. I don't really know this. I don't know the specs on the cam. I think they're 64cc heads. I'm pretty sure that's how that part number deciphers to. It's been together a while, and I don't have a way to check them. I guess I could put a little feeler out on Facebook and see if anybody has one, but it's probably due for some valve springs. It does kind of make me nervous that, you know, I'm sure they have lost some seat pressure and whatnot, and but I will go through and look really close and make sure there's nothing broken. valve springs will probably be on the list. I would suggest, if I know he's watching, but yeah, let's pull these valve covers, pull plug wires, and do some valve adjustment. I don't know the specs, like I was saying, so and the last time I did it, I just took a shot at 1416. This is the last solid roller small block I had. That's what it was, and it seemed pretty quiet. I'll probably just go back that, but I will go back through them and check them all cold before I go adjusting, just to see if anything's moved. Because if you got anything that's really moved a whole lot, then something's wearing. So, and a broken valve spring or dead valve springs in a solid roller is just bad news, because that lifter will not stay on the profile of the camshaft. And as it launches it off the top, it has to land on the bottom side, and then the valve spring's slamming it back down on the back side of the cam lobe, and well, things just don't live long like that. So let's give it a good eyeball, check these valves, and maybe swap a carburetor.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Product, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
All right, this is a take 2 on how to adjust valves, because I didn't even discuss how to do it. I just went on into rambling about Power Tour or fun facts about this thing or something. I don't even remember. I went to edit the video and see where I was at, and I mentioned nothing about it. I just went on through, checked them, rough checked them with the lash tool, and then started adjusting and kept talking. So, we'll try this again. So, this solid roller camshaft, I do not know the specs on this cam, so therefore I do not know the lash. I do not know the lash setting. So, just going to set it at 1416. Well, actually, I had previously set them at 1416, 14 intake, 16 exhaust, and they still seemed a little noisy. So I'm actually going to go back through and just set them 1414 this time and see how it sounds. This back one here, it seems to be continuously to be a little problem child, because it was loose, bad loose when I first checked them. Not side to side, actually. That's pretty normal. But I set it and I ran the car for a little bit, and it went back to making noise, and it was back way out. So I don't know what happened there. But anyway, got the bump switch. You'll do, it's EOIC, exhaust open, intake close. So as the exhaust opens, set the lash on the intake valve. As the intake valve starts to close, set the lash on the exhaust valve. You just got to make sure you're on the base circle of the camshaft and not on any part of the ramp, you know, the ramp in or the ramp off on the camshaft lobe, or you will not get a proper reading. So, and I do not have a lash tool. I'm pretty sure that I bought one, and pretty sure that I bought one. I don't know where it's at, so I'll have to fumble with the wrench and the socket and ratchet. So we're going to do this exhaust valve first, since it's, and I just go down the row. I don't bounce around because I don't have enough brain ability to do that. Hopefully you can see me right there behind that alternator. So intake valve closing, since we're setting the exhaust lash. All right, intake valve closing. So should be loose. And that's 14 thousandths. And then we will, and then if you don't know how to do this, there's a set screw in there in that poly lock. Sometimes these things have stud girdles. So here we'll just do it right quick. So take the set screw loose. Once you take the set screw loose, your rocker arm nut. So got clearly a ton of lash. Bring it on in, little bit. Starting to get some drag on it. And then what I'll do is take this guy and I'll lock her down, Judy. Check it again. It's a little loose. And then I'll take this guy, snug her up, and that locks everything down. Right there. And then 15 more. Intake opens, no, exhaust opens, intake closes, EOIC. And then as the exhaust valves open, we'll jump over here and check the intake, and it's good. So just do that through 15 and well, you should have it. If anything is drastically loose from the last time, then you got something going on, something's wearing, something's loose, something is in definite need of to take a peek at. All right, so let me get this thing back together. Sure, you got a wire up there. Alrighty. Let's see. Let's put this right there. I'm gonna swap out this carburetor. I hope that this linkage will be all right, and then all this other stuff. And then I'll pull the vacuum advance loose, and the distributor is just a touch loose. So that could be some of the weird idle that I was seeing when I was running it yesterday. But we'll get that sorted out. Hit it with timing light, get it set back. But hopefully I can get this thing swapped out without too much fuss. And I'll still not ask Al if it was all right, but it's his carburetor. And I feel like it'll do much better than this edelbrock. And one day I'm going to talk him into putting an electric fan on this thing and getting rid of this old finger removal machine here, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm kind of an advocate on keeping your fingers. They are pretty handy to have, all 10. All right, that one's a little close to the carpet. Aw. Good. I hate getting down here late because it's dark, and then I don't really like doing test drives in the dark. I have to use a wrench on that one. I don't remember that being such a problem last time. I don't remember having to use a wrench on that. I can't get on it. It's a if I got a little better. These speed wrenches aren't the greatest. Or whatever they're called. She's a regular old Craftsman, open end. These studs are a mile long. Why can I not get this socket on there? All right, let me take forever to get these nuts off these tall studs and get back to you when I'm getting ready to put the carburetor back on. Alrighty, luckily I had a mega pack of these things, so we'll put a fresh gasket there. Had to do a little red neckery here. I thought this was the line for this carburetor. I don't even know if that's the line that he sent with this carburetor. I mean, I've had it like forever. And obviously it was too short, so I cut it and did this custom tech inspection past repair here. So Proform 650, the last time I had it apart, everything was functioning. I think I'm going to turn the air compressor on and blow the spider webs out of here before I stick it on the car. But that's what we're going to put on there. Hopefully it goes well. If it goes well with this, then I've got an 800 in there we could try. So, all right, this one does have electric choke, so may have to adjust on that just a touch. This carburetor was on the car the first time I seen it, so hopefully no fuss, no muss. Let's stick it back on there. And I can't remember why. I can't remember why it got changed. Maybe, I can't remember. It's been a long time. It ended up with an edelbrock on it. I took this one home, worked on it a little bit. Got it to where the accelerator pump was pumping. It was just stuck, I guess, from sitting around. So hopefully it's all right now. I'm gonna find a washer. I'm missing one. I need to steal the throttle linkage off the quadrojet. I mean, a quadrojet. That's what this thing needs. The throttle stud. That's what I'm trying to say. Quadrojet. I tell you, at some point I will find a Predator carburetor and give one of them things a try. I've wanted one of those carburetors forever. If you don't know what one looks like, please Google a Predator carburetor. It looks like a sheet metal square, and it is just one big variable Venturi flap toilet bowl. Just looks cool. All right, I got the fuel line hooked up. This is not my air line, so don't think it's actually Gates hose. If you don't believe me, let me find it. Here we go. Gates hose. I didn't cut my Harbor Freight air hose up just to plumb this, and I had to change the fitting down on the fuel pump so I could get me a 90. If all else fails, I have everything and just put the edelbrock right back on there. I have ran into one issue, which is actually two issues. This intake has no vacuum ports, nowhere. I mean, I guess it's a race manifold, it's a strip dominator or something, but I do not feel any ports. So And I changed this breather on the valve cover because the other one, like the foam was like deteriorated. And then I was gonna hook the PCV up because that will definitely keep this crankcase from doing the whole milky valve covers thing. And the PCV is a good thing anyway. So I don't know if I can tee that, if I can tee the brake booster and the PCV. So I'm going to Google that. For right now, I got it capped off. So currently, that's my only issue. Currently, I can't find my squirt bottle, so I can't fill the bowls. That's not good. Which, I mean, it's not terrible, but I mean, could speed up the cranking process if I could fill the bowl. Do not have the vacuum advance hooked up at the moment. We will not worry about that. They are capped off. I believe it's ready to start. Now, how I didn't notice that distributor was loose by moving all these wires around, I have no idea, but I noticed it off the vacuum advance. I believe that's everything. Let's see if we can get it to crank. Well, I'm just going to spin it over and see if I can get some fuel up here first. So. Okay, we got fuel. This float bowl. I'm going to have to set the float. Let me just snug it up right for now. All right, we're leaking back here somewhere. So that chintzy this is where I tightened that, but China, you know. If all goes well, I'll talk him into getting a good fuel line instead of this crap here that I've created. All right, that bowl's full. That bowl's full enough. I'm going to lock these down where they're at, just so they don't leak. And then we'll adjust those at a later date. Let me see if it's still leaking. All right, it's still leaking back there. Appears to be not leaking now, so let's gamble on, I believe it is flooding. Yep. That ain't good. So, all right, so the bowl. All right. Hopefully this thing don't, because it was leaking over into the carburetor. I'll run it down a little bit more. Just for now. All right, this thing might be rough to start because it's slow flooded. I'll let that run for a minute, get a little heat in it. All right, I Googled, and I think Nasty Z20, no, Camaro Forum or Nova Forum or something, and then the Jalopy Journal. It was about 50-50. Some say you can T for the power brakes and PCV, some say you cannot. I can see where it would create a weaker signal to the booster. So, the only thing I can do is try. I would really like to see the PCV. Other guys were saying they had to run like a 1/2-inch spacer to gain another port. Need to change this hose here because it is massive and it will not fit anything. It's like 5/8 hose. So I've got I had a T and then PCV valve. Well, he had a PCV valve and then I had a T. I've got it capped right now, and then I've got the vacuum advance unhooked. Still need to tighten the distributor up. The camera is about to die, and it's kind of too late to be revving around on this thing at the moment. So I guess I'll jump back on this thing tomorrow and we'll be able to drive it, see what it does, and see how the brakes act with that vacuum signal. Alrighty, pretty sure I got old Uncle Al sorted out here. Had him come by earlier. I didn't tell him about the carburetor till he got here. I personally think this made a big difference. Then again, maybe I haven't driven it. Maybe I've not previously driven it. Maybe I've not previously driven it like I did before. Does that make sense? Maybe I've not. Maybe I didn't beat on it before like I did with this carburetor. I don't know. I feel like I did. Maybe I was gun shy because I tore the man's car up a couple times. So I don't know. Either way, I feel like it rolls out pretty well. You cannot tie the PVC in the power brakes, which I could see where some people said that the vacuum signal would not work out sharing it like that. So it feels like the booster is like halfway working. So he's going to order a plate. I'm going to pull the carburetor back off tomorrow. I'm pretty sure he said the plate will be here tomorrow. Pull the carburetor back off tomorrow, put the plate on, plumb that in like it's supposed to be. And I think it's ready to rip. Set the timing. So I've already terrorized the neighborhood enough today, so maybe tomorrow we'll get a driving video. But yeah, got the Proform on there. It could probably benefit from a 750. I've got one. Maybe we'll try it. That's about it. So I thought I actually had more to talk about for today's video. I guess not, so we'll just... Oh, I do have something to talk about. So, let me back up. Way back before I had a Tri-5, I had a 68 Camaro. And the only thing I always swore, the only thing I'd ever trade that car for would be a 55 Chevrolet. That's how bad I wanted one. A guy gave me a hood bird and a hood badge. And I used to always kid around like, well, you know, technically with these two parts, I'm on my way to building a 55 Chevrolet. Just build the car around these two items. And for the longest time, when I lived by myself, this stuff stayed on the bookshelf or on the mantle or something. Just because I liked it so much, I set it out. This thing probably looks better on camera than it does in person, but I painted the backside with model car glue years ago. Like, I've had this stuff probably going on 20 years. And I wasn't sure where it was at. So I got to digging around a while ago and I found it. And luckily, it still has the nuts on the back. And Al doesn't have a hood badge. So I'm going to put this on the car. I'm not going to tell him about it. We'll just see how long it takes him to notice it. So we'll just, it's doing me no good in a box. And he doesn't have one. He's got a hood bird. And I'm going to do something crafty with the hood bird. I don't know what yet, but we'll put it to use. So we're going to stick this on the car. and not tell him. Hopefully he hasn't like had one and just removed it. Oh man. Well, this one must be different. Maybe this ain't a 55. Maybe it's 56. Heck, I don't know. But that's different. So what I think I'll do, maybe I can pull this stud out and we'll just use these two side studs because they'll go on there. I guess I could close the hood, but yeah, I'm gonna stick this on there, see if he notices it. So, all right, I don't really know what this fits. I thought it might have been the trunk, but I looked at my trunk lid and it's got the same hole pattern as this hood. And then I looked at my spare hood over here, which still had the badge on it, and it looked the same. So I don't know what this thing fits. But anyway, from here, it looks normal, but it doesn't fit exactly, you know? Like the two holes that we used could be drilled out just a touch, and the little pegs would go through and it would sit flush, and then drill a new hole for that bottom one. And it would probably sit pretty close. But I'm not going to drill any holes in his hood or enlarge the other two. So if he doesn't, so Al, if you don't see this, if you don't notice this on the car when you pick it up tomorrow and you see this in the video, if you don't want it, just take it off. I'll put it on the toolbox or something, but we'll just see if he notices. I mean, I'm sure mine. So the hood bird I have is different. So maybe it's 56 stuff. Because the spare hood doesn't have the bird. I don't know. Somebody gave me this stuff. It doesn't have anything on there that would... I mean, I'm sure I could Google it, you know. So, but hey, well, if you don't like it, it's okay. But I'm going to move this out of the way, finish that tomorrow, and then I'm jumping on the C10. So, see you tomorrow. All right, I believe I got this thing sorted out. Adjusted the carburetor, got my vacuum leak fixed because I'm an idiot, and I completely missed the port. It was jammed in between the carburetor and the other vacuum port for the PCV. Didn't know I did that until I decided that the spacer plate was not level. So got that sorted out. Timing is set. I still got the timing light hooked up, so I'll see if I can show you. So it's about 32, 33 degrees total. That's like 15 degrees initial. So ran it out of gas. It was running good till it wasn't. Then I realized why it wasn't. So I went and got 5 gallons. I can't shut that glass with one hand, so I'll just leave it for now. Idle it down just a little bit. Seems, let's see what it's set at. Real close to 1,000. You could probably come down just a little. Probably all right there. Probably close to 9. Yeah, right at 9 according to that tack. But yep. I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move the old Ranger here, and we'll gently hot lap it, and the road's dry and ain't nobody in the neighborhood, maybe we'll get an action shot. So, well, let me get this truck moved and that glass shut, and we'll take her up the road. All right, let's take her up the road right quick. That didn't work. All right, maybe that'll stay. swear those valves seem loud. Well, I guess that's everything. Seems to run all right. Stays cool. I don't think I flung the belt off. I'll have to check. I still have to put the air filter back on, but that ain't really nothing. Pretty sure I got everything checked off the list. I guess we'll just wrap this one up where it's at and pick something else to do. No shortage of things to work on. So thanks for watching Left for Dead Garage. We'll see you later.